to Love and the Planets, and I'm Margaret Gray in Dublin.
And I'm Armand Diaz in New York.
And we're looking at the week of September 11th, Armand, which is kind of a little bit of a shift, isn't it, after the last few weeks, which have had, really, they've been kind of like a roller coaster. So I think really, I mean, dare I say it, I think this week it kind of feels just a little less kind of dramatic.
Yeah, I mean, how do you feel when you get off a roller coaster?
Yeah,
a
not
little
too
bit of
good.
that. Yeah, not too good. But I think that there is a much better, not better, a much more manageable stew of energy around this week. And Venus is extraordinarily active this week, the planet of love and relationship.
Yes, she is. And one of the aspects she forms on Thursday, which I thought was kind of interesting, is the conjunction with the North Node in Leo. So, I mean, what do you think about that, Armand?
Well, I mean, Venus conjunct the North Node in Leo sort of says, okay, at best it says, where's your heart? It says, this is the heart connection. It's Leo. It is the sign of the heart. The North Node is where we need to go, and Venus is love and relationship. So really, where's your heart? And that's a great connection point. It's a great connection point for people that are in relationships. It could be nice for people that are looking for a relationship. It comes after Venus having made a nice trine to Saturn on Tuesday.
Yes, and that kind of feels like really there's a little bit more, the seriousness comes to mind in terms of commitment, in terms of really being able to say, okay, I really want to go out with this person, or I don't, or I really want to be with this person. But it kind of feels like we really have to put our money where our mouth is, that it really demands some kind of, that something comes into concrete form after all these past few weeks. So there was a lot of water where there was, the full moon and so on. And now it feels like, okay, time to really say, yes, I want to be in a relationship, or no, I don't want to be in a relationship, or yes, I even want to date, or I don't want to date. So it just feels like something concrete is happening at last. And I also wanted to mention about the North Node and Venus that I was wondering whether also it might be a very good time at which to meet kind of, a soul connection. We often talk about soul connections, but, there are certain points in time where I think it's almost like a door opens where it doesn't mean we will meet our soul connection, but maybe there are more possibilities, more potential to meet somebody that is kind of aligned with who we are on a soul basis.
It certainly is. Again, the Saturn aspect earlier in the week, it is a sort of make or break type of thing. It's a gentle kind of, it's not a forced hitting into a square type of make it or break. But Saturn always demands, our commitment. Are you going forward, or are you stepping back? That may have the effect of kind of clearing the air in a way. Then Venus, and that would help, with the North Node, and then Venus also will be tangling with Jupiter. I shouldn't say tangling. They're actually going to be in a nice relationship.
I know. I was thinking that, because I was thinking it's actually sextiling Jupiter, which is kind of nice and expansive. So it feels like there's real potential for joy with that, some fun and joy, which we haven't had a lot of in the past few weeks, maybe months even. So I think this really feels like, that's a great time to really be going out, and that's on the weekend. So it's really a perfect time, really, ideally.
No, it should work out very, very nicely. We are coming into the new moon, which kind of, it kind of damps down the energy, although the moon will also be going through Leo on the weekend, and that it's going to be fun. And then the moon will join Venus, which is going to help. And actually, we might think about it as being next week, but really it's very, very early on Monday that Venus will sextile Uranus, which could, that sounds to me like opening up some new opportunities also. That seems like a kind of, maybe break out of patterns and just try something new or someone new.
Yes, I was thinking about that. I was really, I thought that actually it's a trine, isn't it, rather than a sextile, or am I getting confused there?
No, it's a trine.
It's a trine.
Did I
Either
say
way,
sixth
it's
farm?
still, you did, but either way, it's still a nice aspect. It's certainly not a square. So it kind of feels like, yeah, that's going to be an opportunity to kind of maybe even recharge old relationships or new friendships or whatever. And, you know, something also struck me that we've had, you know, there's so much going on in the collective. You know, we can't deny it. There's a lot of stresses, a lot of strains. And I think these transits coming along now, it's kind of interesting because it also makes us think, okay, in the grand scheme of things, we don't know what's going on. There's some things that are out of our control and that can be a little scary, to say the least. So maybe it's time that we really think seriously, who do we want to have in our life? Who do we want to be surrounded by? You know, and when the going gets tough in the general collective, who do we want to come home to and who do we want to have by our side? So I think it's kind of an interesting way to start the week, you know, with that Venus trine Saturn, or it's actually middle of the week, Wednesday. But I think they're all pointing us towards, you know, let's really take time, because we often think we've got years, we've got, you know, a lifetime, but, you know, we don't know. So maybe it is a good time to be thinking, you know, generally in terms of our relationships, not just intimate relationships, but also friendships, family relationships, who have we maybe not contacted for a while and it's good to keep in touch with, all those kind of things.
The uncertainty, which is has been increasing exponentially, just when you thought it couldn't get any more uncertain, it is something that really does pull us towards this sense of, you know, what really matters. Because as the surface gets more rough and uncertain, you know, you want to go for the depth, because yes, you know, you realize that some of the things that are just bubbling around on the surface really aren't that important. When you see when you feel the vulnerability that comes with some of that uncertainty. Yeah, it's a very good point.
And ultimately, really, relationships are kind of the most important things in our life. Really, all of our relationships, our connections with other people, that's what's really going to matter, you know, if things get really bad. I mean, it's not going to be even our work or anything else. So I think, you know, it just makes us think a little bit more. But back to happy thoughts, which are, you know, as we mentioned, you know, this wonderful Venus sextile Jupiter aspect. So also maybe a good time for people to start dating. You know, I know we had a question on our page about, you know, good times to start dating. And I would say this week is a really good time to maybe, you know, start dating or start thinking about that, or, you know, start going out with someone.
I think that the feeling, the depth as we come into the new moon, the sort of inward turning depth, is something that we're not going to be able to ignore. So I don't think it's not that Venus in Gemini vibe of just go out and have a little load of fun, but it is a lighter end to the week there. I think that from Wednesday on through the weekend is pretty good time for going out and having some fun and enjoying yourself. Yeah, if you take care of the serious business on Monday and Tuesday.
Of course, we can't forget about that. Yes. So on that note, we hope you'll all have a wonderful week, and see you next week, Armand.
Bye bye, Margaret.
Bye bye.